Hi, we're Quora. Are you interested in joining the platform? I mean, sure, yeah, I've been here a few times and it looks interesting, so let's do it. Well, that's wonderful, so tell us a bit about yourself. What kind of stuff do you like? Well, I do like talking and arguing about politics. I'm very left-leaning. Alright, I'm also a history buff, and I like video games. I also like fantasy, like Game of Thrones. Alright, say no more. Here's a bunch of spaces you can follow. On these spaces you can share memes, you can answer questions and pose questions, whatever you like. Okay, cool. And just so you know, based on the stuff you read, we'll be making more recommendations in the future by just dropping them into your feed, alright? Okay, sure, I guess. Okay, well, have fun. Hey Quora, I'm back. What you got for me? Alright, let's see. How about this post that supposedly shows the hypocrisy of categorizing different types of bugs into different species, yet white and black people are shown as part of the same human race, am I right? Wait, what? Yeah, I mean, you're into politics, right? It's right up your alley. I am, but that's just plain racist shit. Where does that come from? Oh, it's from a space called It's Okay to Be White. It's a safe space for white people. Well, it sure seems like a euphemism since most of their posts is about the purity of the white race, or demonizing non-white people. I'm sorry, how is this allowed? Well, I guess we didn't really look into it, but you can always report it if you want. Okay, well, don't show me any of their stuff again. That's gross. Alrighty. Okay, Quora, come on now. What? Why are you putting White Nation and European separatist movement on my feed? I told you I don't want none of that shit. Yeah, you said that before, but when we dropped this into your feed, you looked at it for like 10 seconds, so we just assumed if you look at it for that long, it's because you enjoy it, right? Actually, the reason I look at them for 10 seconds is because I am shocked and trying to process it before I delete it, but that's before we even get into how you allow these spaces to exist in the first place. I mean, how does that keep happening? Well, I'm not gonna answer that, but anyway, here's another question you might find interesting. This question answers how long 6 inches are. That's a dick pic. You're showing dick pics on my feed? Well, I mean, you didn't mute any of the recommendations we sent you based on the LGBT community, so I mean, we just made assumptions, took a leap, you know? You're a social media platform, and you're showing dick pics on people's feeds? What the hell is wrong with you? Do you have any moderation at all? Well, I mean, muting pages or blocking them aren't the only options you have, you know? You also have the option to just say you're not interested into that sort of stuff, so we don't recommend more of it. Well, I guess I can try that too, but Jesus Christ, dude, I'm starting to think you're a very bad platform, and this is not helping. Well, I'm sorry, dude. I'm doing my best, okay? Honestly, I don't think you are. I don't think you're doing anything. Alright, so you don't like Nazis and you don't like dick pics. Got it. Well, thank you. So if you're not gay, we gotta send you the opposite. Wait, where are you even going with this? Would you care for some sex workers just posting selfies of their faces covered in goo? I'm so done. Hello there, I'm Terry Duke, and welcome to my channel. What you just saw was the simplified but very real experience that I had on Quora over the past year. Now, if you don't know what Quora is, I don't blame you, but basically it's a question and answer website that's been around for over a decade. So on the site, people ask questions, and then people can answer them in an essay format of sorts, and then people can argue with each other about the answers in the comments. It's pretty straightforward. According to the man sage, Quora currently has over 300 million users every month, so you can basically think of Quora as smaller Reddit, as the latter has 1.6 billion followers every month, which is roughly 5 times as much as Quora. Personally though, I never really liked Reddit. I always found the interface to be a bit unintuitive, especially on my phone, so over the past few years I gravitated towards Quora and I did come to love the concept. However, like virtually everything online, you can have a really good idea, like people just sharing knowledge with each other, but if you don't have regen moderation, it can quickly derail into a festering pool of brain-dead content, misinformation, intense bigotry, and a spiral of conspiracy theories. Now, to be clear, I created my main YouTube channel over 2 years ago, and before that, I was never really social online. I've never been on Reddit, I never used TikTok, what even are Snapchat and Instagram? You get the idea. And I was barely on Quora at all. But along with my YouTube channel, I decided 2 years ago to create my official Terry Duke Quora account, if only to expand what little sphere of influence I had across multiple platforms, one of which I found mildly interesting. But that's also when I decided to be more active on Quora, and that's when I realized just how much of a nightmare Quora is. So that's what this video is about. It's not a response to far-right conspiracy theories, it's an attempt at even debunking any of the far-right content that's on Quora. It's really just about my experience with the terrible algorithm and the utter lack of moderation that plagues Quora, and ultimately trying to understand how it came to be that way. So as I've said, I'm a leftist, so the first thing I did when I went on Quora is I wanted to find out just what kind of presence politics have. And besides the main politics spaces like Politics, which has 30 million followers, there's probably hundreds if not thousands of much smaller but nicher and still active political spaces, and that's kind of where I just fell off. But within weeks of going on Quora just to see what's up, Quora was gradually sending me more and more far-right content on my feed, and it generally felt as if looking at those posts for 10 seconds was all it took for Quora to assume I liked more of that stuff, because even though I was muting the content, they would just keep sending me more of it from different spaces. So gradually, I started muting, reporting, and blocking all of the spaces that sent me the vilest shit. And to be clear, it's not because I'm a leftist snowflake and I find stuff like this triggering, it's because that stuff is just plain wrong. There's nothing for me to debunk or address here, it's just plain racist, white supremacy nonsense. Sometimes coming from people that have the Confederacy flag in their avatar. Even a page that is supposedly pro-man literally has a Nazi banner on their main page. This space, as these groups are called on Quora, is just one of the many that I had to block, though conveniently you can actually see all of the pages you've blocked by just going into the settings into your account. These are all the pages I had to block to make my Quora feed somewhat okay. If you go to White National, all their memes are some form of white genocide or great replacement. If you look at the questions, they're all about how to get rid of immigrants. And of course, the page is still active. Other spaces, like It's Okay to be White and European Separatist Movement, are still active, despite having reported them months ago. And then there's nicher but openly racist and misogynistic spaces like Celebrating Single Moms. The entire purpose of this page is to make fun of single mothers for being single mothers. But what you'll notice very quickly by scrolling down is they especially hate white moms with black children. Seriously, I just keep scrolling and this is all I see, that's all they have. I can only imagine why that is, and of course, they're still active. Of all these spaces, as of this recording, only 2 were deleted, one of which was a page on incest. I guess we should thank God that Quora actually got around to deleting that one. Jesus! So what is going on? Why is openly racist and explicit content even allowed on the platforms with no challenge whatsoever? If I reported all of these pages months ago and they're still running, what is going on? The answer is most likely nothing. While doing extensive research, by which I mean going on Wikipedia, I learned that all of these issues I've been experiencing have been going on in Quora for many years now. And it all comes down to Quora choosing to moderate using bots, probably very outdated bots too. So for example, if you saw something horrible on Quora, here's what you do. You have the option to report it, and the interface here is actually very handy. You can report for a wide variety of reasons, including hate speech, explicit content, and even plagiarism. The problem though is that the bots can only really do a few things. They can take answers down, but they don't really have the ability of reviewing the content of the answers themselves. According to this article on Rando City, dating from 2019, it was discovered at the time that all it took for a bot to take down an answer is for the answer to get reported, regardless of its content, and it would be put under moderation appeal. This means you could answer a question on just about anything, and if someone doesn't like you, all they had to do was report your answer, and it will be taken down until an actual human being reviews the report. But if there's no human beings working at Quora, or if there's very few of them in an ever-increasing pile of reports, this meant that reporting an answer might as well be deleting it into oblivion. Because of that, and because of how much bots were taken advantage of, it seems to me Quora isn't as quick to just take down answers anymore, but that also means that real, harmful content is not being removed either. So if you report a dick pic, whether it's removed at all depends entirely on the bot's ability to see the dick pic for what it is. And so long as the answer avoids keywords that the bot can pick up on, then there's a genuine chance it may not be taken down at all until an actual human being reviews the report, which may never happen. So it's basically up to the users to block and mute all the pages with all the horrible content until they have an acceptable feed for themselves. That means any new user is likely going to experience all that crap as well, since Quora is making no effort to address the issue whatsoever. And on a side note, I don't mean to be a white knight here, but I hate to think what the platform feels like if, in addition to all the hateful content, you're actually on the receiving end of that hate. Imagine being a woman on Quora and seeing posts like this, a post that implies that they deserve to be because of feminism. Imagine being a person of color in that meme and being turned into a monster just for being an immigrant or being a person of color. Imagine your kids or teenagers going on Quora with the hope of learning about stuff and instead finding dick pics. Now obviously in today's day and age, they're going to find stuff on the internet and it's beyond your control, but it should not be on Quora is my point. I don't think that's a hot take. But say you are one of the ever-decreasing amount of people that go on Quora not as a Nazi or as a creep, just genuinely going on there to either learn about stuff or share your own knowledge on topics, and say you have the patience and willingness to sort out all the horrible stuff that Quora will inevitably send your way. So at this point, we're back to basics. Question and answers. Is Quora any good at that? The short answer is, not anymore. Not for a long time. Don't get me wrong, if you follow interesting topics and spaces, chances are you will read a lot of interesting stuff, you will have a lot of interesting answers and discussions and debates. I certainly had many of them. But similarly to the lack of moderation, Quora has no barriers or restrictions on the kind of questions you can ask, meaning that you could also have a lot of really stupid questions. Guns are black. Is that racist? Never thought about it that way. How can police be racist if they have black guns? Checkmate, liberals. To be fair, a lot of it is obvious trolling. Why are gay people homosexual? Is it accurate to blame it on the Democratic Party? I never thought of it that way, but it's true. If it wasn't for the Democratic Party, gay people would not be so homosexual. Why are girls complaining that guys don't want to marry when they are the ones who made it difficult for them by adding all legal stuff to marriage? This is what happens when you have a loaded question within the mind of an incel. I mean, it's true, right? Now that forced marriage has been made illegal for quite some time, I guess it's a lot more difficult to earn a woman's love rather than just have legal power over them. Back to tradition, I guess. But having no moderation for the questions at all obviously means you have no moderation for the answers either. What do you think is the most important problem facing humanity today? Inability to love, by feminists destroying the heart in woman to replace it with an ego. What is the most beautiful thing in life, but the hardest to realize? Is this what they say? The hardest thing to do in life is to find love? If you allow trust in your heart, love will flow. Who's stopping you? You, if your ego is in charge. Ego feminism blocks life/love. Only because men and women seek love and not ego. The ego manifested and not controlled is the equivalent of the devil in charge. No one wants that for any one of their children. Which is why some very responsible cultures work hard at raising their kids with the basics. Boys, to be in charge of his ego by having a backbone. Girls, to be in charge of her emotions by having a heart. The West puts no effort into it. In fact, to reverse the natural process of love, at an earlier age, feminist mothers require girls to irresponsibly abandon their hearts by taking contraception, as well as both genders,
changing their sex.
This is a result of feminism washing the genders into extinction, all to remove men from being in charge and the head of the culture and family. Fact check. No woman can be happy until she has a man in charge of her, for one reason. Ego is misery and heart is joy. The most love possible is Father Sky to Mother Earth. The duality in the universe. Without the electromagnetic field of dual polarity, you fall off the planet. Jesus. To be clear, that's just the tip of the iceberg here. Quora used to require that you use your actual name for transparency, but for a few years now, it's been allowing pseudonyms, so people are a lot more comfortable spewing hateful nonsense if they can stay anonymous. And the answers you write don't need any citations, there's no need for sources. In fact, posting links to sources risk your questions getting reported as spam. There's not going to be any moderation at all unless the admins of specific pages decide to moderate the content themselves. So you could go on Quora and learn about race realism. You could learn that climate change is a hoax. And there's virtually nothing to stop anyone from making up just about anything. Quora won't do a damn thing about it. Even big spaces can get completely polluted before anyone does anything about it. So big spaces like Philosophy, which has like 32 million followers, if you go in their space right now, most of the feed is just one weirdo sharing what is the grossest, weirdest AI art I've ever seen, or the questions of Nietzsche. No answers, just AI art about people shitting spaghetti. I don't know why that's there, I don't know why no one's doing anything about it, but it goes to show. Even if you follow a page like this one, chances are, this weird AI art is the first thing you're gonna see on your feed when you log in tomorrow. So is Quora any good? Hell no! Quora is hot garbage. It's nothing but pure hot garbage. To be clear, it would be nice to have a place besides Reddit where people can share knowledge and debate about stuff, and maybe Quora was that alternative at some point, but not anymore. With the simple hope that people just behave nicely, Quora has become a place where good people leave every day while the number of Nazis and creeps just keeps increasing. One can only hope that someday Quora gets its act together and cleans up the entire website, but given that most of the issues I pointed out in this video have been going on for the past decade, doubtful anything will ever change. Either way, I just wanted to share a glimpse into what using Quora looks like these days. If you were curious about it, well, now you've been warned. Best I can do personally is raise awareness, and who knows, maybe this video gets big, more people know about it, more people talk about it, and Quora makes more effort maybe? But anyway, that's about it for today, so thanks for watching everyone. If you enjoyed the content, you know what to do, you can hit a like, subscribe, and tell me about your own experiences in the comments if you wish. To be clear, this is not my main channel, this is my politics channel. My main channel is mostly gaming, and it's right here. If you want to talk politics with me, you could do so on Quora. My account is still there. I don't know that I'm going to be much on it these days, but who knows, maybe people find my profile and start arguing with me more. Could be interesting. But if you want to interact with me more directly, you can also do so by joining my Discord server. I have a dedicated politics channel on there, and I'm often there arguing with other people instead of editing the videos like I'm supposed to. But anyway, thanks again, and I'll see you next time.